Working in partnership with the gentleman that I work for who has just joined us, our Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams. I say to you before I introduce the Borough President that all of the individuals who are being recognized this morning did a Herculean task. You were either out in the trenches or behind the scenes, helping people who could not help themselves, doing what others took for granted. You gave of yourselves unwillingly, unselfishly. I thank you for the time and the energy that you put to ensure that the health of others were first. I thank your families for allowing you the opportunity to do that. I thank you for working in partnership with this office. Brooklyn was severely hit, and in some of our most needed areas, we're still suffering. But because of the work that you did, so many people were able to rally and live and not transition to the other side. So I thank you. And without any further ado, it is indeed a distinct honor and privilege for me to introduce to you our Brooklyn Borough President, Eric Adams.
And at this time, can we have Dr. Milani Samuels and numbers 1 through 8, please come by Eileen. Numbers 1 through 8, please line up by Eileen.
Denise, show them where you want them to line up here. Hold on for one moment. Thank you very much, and we are taking great strides to social distance, as you see, because they didn't fight hard to prevent the spread of COVID for us to do anything that's going to jeopardize the health and safety of New Yorkers. As Lori announced and the staff announced, the various things that were done during COVID-19, you heard the diversity of the actions, delivering food, bringing supplies, stopping at hospitals, feeding seniors in NYCHA, packaging, delivering PPEs by the thousand. One of the untold stories is that when we reached out to our organizations in the Chinese community, while some mean-spirited people in the city were attacking them because of the negative terminology, they decided to do a full movement towards delivering PPEs to NYCHA residents, and we delivered over 200,000 PPEs to NYCHA residents by the various monks and Chinese organizations in the city. That's the diversity. The diversity of the task that was carried out is nowhere near the diversity of Brooklynites and New Yorkers that went beyond the call of duty. When I set up my home here in Borough Hall and put a mattress on the floor, I knew I was not alone across this entire city. Everyday people did extraordinary things to say we will not allow the devastation of coronavirus to make us stay away from helping our neighbors. Although we reached a milestone of over 200,000 people lost their lives, we know that more people did not lose their lives because of the heroes and sheroes who are here today, and we want to thank them for that. Different languages, different places, Urdu, French, Chinese, Spanish, synagogues, mosques, churches, Baptists, Catholic, Protestants, all groups coming together. We showed America, just as we did during 9/11, when America was unsure if they could move forward as a country. New Yorkers on 9/12, we stood up. We rallied around each other, and the spirit of energy that came from this city cascaded out throughout the entire country. And we did it again when we became the epicenter of coronavirus. New Yorkers came together of different groups, different ethnicities, and the entire country received the energy that came from our city and our borough to say that we will survive, we will defeat coronavirus, and we will be better at it in the process of doing so. And so I just want to thank all of our heroes and sheroes today. They inspired me, watching them as we moved around the city, carrying boxes, delivering supplies, delivering foods, dropping food off to downstate, dropping food off at Jacobi Hospital, food trucks. The Pakistani community served over 90,000 meals throughout the entire city. It's just unbelievable. While others attempted to divide us, we united us. And we need that constant reminder, because we hear so much negative energy that we begin to define ourselves by that negative energy. Well, today we're saying, don't define us by what people are against, define us by what we are for, and we are for each other's. The people here are representative of the greatest race alive, and that's the human race, and all of their diversity and beauty. Thank you very much for what you do. We applaud you, and let's continue to honor the rest of our heroes and sheroes.
Asking all honorees, please take your citation and go by the BP right there in the front, and I will read the names. We have Dr. Melanie Samuels from the Campaign Against Hunger, who has given thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds of food away throughout the borough. We have Hannah Bloom, who have provided snacks to the workers at NYU Langone in Manhattan, where her father-in-law was being treated for COVID. We have the 400 block Bainbridge Street Block Association, who provided an agricultural product, health and wellness, and stress survivors for their residents, as well as 2,500 face masks, which they made themselves. And they also launched a summer youth program with the cancellation of SYEP. We also have Dr. Clarice Metfoso-Fall, who organized fundraising and purchased 1,000 pieces of PPE. And Joseph Sy and the Brooklyn Nets, which is being accepted by the BSE Global President John Abamondi. BSE Global donated 2.6 million masks, 170,000 goggles, and 2,000 ventilators to New York's residents. So this is the first group of our COVID heroes for 2020. Thank you all. We have coming up Delta Rho Omega chapter of AKA. They've wrapped over 10,000 face masks for Brooklyn Borough Hall. They've donated $1,000 to Brooklyn for Life. They've hosted dance parties, raised more than $8,000 for the campaign against hunger, and hosted weekly virtual webinars. This is Delta Rho Omega, AKA. Now we have number 10, Imtiaz Ahmed from Al Rayan Muslim Funeral Services, who oversaw the burials according to the Muslim tradition of more than 200 who succumbed to COVID. We have Ali Rashad from the American Pakistani Advocacy Group. They coordinated the purchase, packaging, disinfecting, and delivering of 2,500 grocery packages to approximately 16,000 senior citizens. We have Dr. Susmita Jasti from the Art of Living. Dr. Jasti and her team provided self-help, stress management, and emotional workshops, as well as distributed PPE throughout the community. Dr. Nelson Aluya, the Association of Nigerian Physicians. They helped with free government testing for patients who who are mostly new to the United States and were looking to be tested for COVID. Dr. Vipul Patel and BAPS Charities. They delivered hot meals to first responders and also worked to donate handmade cotton face masks, as well as N95 and surgical masks to hospitals and locals in need. Ms. Olga Mans from the Bethel Seventh-day Adventist Church. She and her team worked to provide food to those who were homeless and in need at their church pantries. Krista Lynch. Krista Lynch is from Braze, Brooklyn. Krista and her partners, Meals for the Homeless and Food Insecure. They mobilized to provide over 1,000 meals for families living in homeless shelters. Javier Munez and Molly Braverman, Broadway Green Alliance and Open Jar Studios. Broadway and theatrical sensation Javier Munoz activated the Broadway Relief Project, where he worked with out-of-work costume and set directors to manufacture PPE. Where's Javier? Dr. Sandra Scott, Brookdale Medical Hospital. Dr. Scott helped to calm frightened colleagues and provide comfort to the patients and their families. Jennifer Guzman from Brookdale Hospital. Jennifer worked closely with her team to include morgue duties, ensuring the dignity of expired patients. Randy Piers in the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. The Brooklyn Chamber recognized that most establishments were at risk and didn't qualify for government assistance. They started the Brooklyn Recovery Fund. Jeffrey Wright, who I don't believe is here today, started Brooklyn for Life, which was to help feed first responders and to support small businesses throughout the borough. Can we have the next group, 22 through 30? The first person is Mr. Lukman Moshood. Mr. Moshood facilitated with the distribution of free African and halal food to thousands of people with personal protective equipment items throughout his community. Michelle Carrera from Chili's on Wheels. Chili's on Wheels provided healthy plant-based groceries to people and families who were in need during COVID. Chloe Natasha and Chloe Natasha International Ministries and ANS Association. They committed to providing aid to victims of domestic violence in our city's homeless population, which increased during the COVID pandemic. Dara Cass at Columbia University. Dara Cass is an emergency room doctor who coordinated key mobile testing sites and provided a great deal of guidance to Brooklyn Borough Hall. Ankar Vidya from the Federation of Indian Associations. They oversaw the distribution of more than 3,000 meals, including those to first responders, members of the NYPD, and they distributed over 1,000 face shields made by children of a member organization. The Flatbush Food Co-op. The Flatbush Food Co-op provided healthy food and safety needs for those during the pandemic. Firoz Ahmed from FOBANA, the Federation of Bangladeshi Associations in North America. They provided antibody testing to more than 2,500 people at 8 locations throughout the borough. And Qazi Hossain from FOBANA, Federation of Bangladeshi Associations of America. They fed hundreds of hungry residents throughout the pandemic. Number 30, Jane Centino, Austin, Garifuna Community, worked tirelessly with her staff, including doctors, to meet the needs of every patient as she felt responsible during this COVID. 31 is Eva, I'm just gonna start mentioning the names and then they can go up directly and take their photo. Eva Santos from the Grand Street Settlement. They worked to serve more than 200 community members daily. They picked up food for children in kindergarten through 8th grade. Samora Jones from Heads Hope Market. Samora and her team provided fresh fruits and vegetables to the East New York community through the Hope Market Initiative, which expanded during COVID-19. Iman Ahmed Ali Azur from the Iqrar Masjid Brooklyn Mosque. They provided an intense 5-week period. They had to do over 150 burials and retrieve bodies from homes, hospital, to recite the prayer, washing, and drape the body during COVID. Charles Beauvais from Interfaith Medical Center. I don't believe Dr. Beauvais is here, but his award will be taken by his team members. Hansrupa Das and Jagannath Rao from ISKCON, New York at Brooklyn. This group was a non-sectarian community group, provided spiritual education and promoted peace and vegetarian food distributions during COVID. Cindy Similian, Just a Kid with a Dream Foundation. Through her foundation, she held online women's empowerment events in May, providing diapers, baby supplies, wipes, and books. Laura Mezerborski from the Kings Bay YWHA Community Center worked tirelessly during the pandemic to provide nutritious food and meals for her community. We should have number 40 to 50 coming up. Karen Samuels from Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center. Karen Samuels. When Brooklyn became a hotspot, Kingsbrook Jewish maintained patients, combining disciplines to outcome high-flow oxygen BiPAP patient turning and chest therapy. Dr. Kurt Kudroff from Kingsbrook Jewish. Dr. Kudroff managed the administrative management team to focus on rapid response. Maria Arias from Kingsbrook worked in the capacity for acute and critical care beds. Master Ming Yu was one of the first to provide COVID masks to Brooklyn Borough Hall, which were distributing over 120 surgical masks, KN95 masks, and gloves to Brooklyn. Master Ming Yu. Winnie Greco. Brooklyn Borough Hall can't say enough about Winnie Greco. Winnie Greco reached out to all of her contacts and was able to provide PPE. She took to the streets and distributed PPE, and she secured more than 176,000 masks, 24,000 gloves, 943 sets of protective clothing, and 9,600 face shields, hand sanitizers, and temperature machines. Thank you, Winnie. The Kiwanis Club, Joe Carrace. The Kiwanis Club secured PPE and provided meals to hospital workers at Coney Island Hospital and throughout the community in South Brooklyn. The Melquay and Jetel Anderson Foundation, Fighting Gun Violence via Education, and its leader, Michelle Barnes Anderson, provided not only PPE and groceries to the community, but also COVID testing. Now, do we have number 45 to 55? Number 45, Mohammed Bahe. Number 45. 45 through 55, please come up. Please come up. Number 45, Mohammed Bahe, Muslims Giving Back. Please go to the... Once you get your citation, please go by the BP to take your photo. Mohammed Bahe, Muslims Giving Back, worked tirelessly to provide free halal food to food insecure, homeless, and hungry members of the community. Chad Perkay from the Myrtle Avenue Bid. The Myrtle Avenue Bid dispatched 20 volunteers throughout Fort Greene to provide food and essentials to NYCHA housing residents. Chef Demetrius Carousis from Nick's Lobster. Chef Dimitri, Nick's Lobster was one of the first to provide food and meals to those who needed food during COVID-19. Jed Marcus and One Community NYC, the Clinton Hill Fort Greene Mutual Aid. They worked with a coalition of 22 partner organizations each week and more than 60 volunteers to deliver food to seniors and vulnerable in low-income housing. Ingrid Murray and Prospect Cleaning Services, this is number 50. Number 50 to 60, number 50 to 60, please come up. Number 50 is Ingrid Murray, President of Prospect Cleaning Services. During COVID-19, she saw her business decrease by over 65%, and then she got a call from the MTA and was able to hire an additional 50 workers who were recently laid off to do cleaning at MTA. Number 51, Noah Katz. PSK Supermarkets, better known as Food Town. Food Town was given one of the first to create priority express lanes for first responders, including police, fire, healthcare workers, probation officers, and correction officers. They also provided $25 gift cards totaling $100,000 to first responders. Tiffany Davis and the Red Hook Arts Project. The Red Hook Arts Project solicited donations and coordinated distribution of meals, diapers, and other supplies to their community. Number 53, Naraj KC, the Rotary Club of Queens. The Rotary Club of Queens arranged for the distribution of PPE, Tylenol, and thermometers throughout Brooklyn and Queens. Can we have number 54 through 60? Number 51 through 61, okay. The Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America and His Eminence, Archbishop Eldeforos of America and Stratos Saphalios. The Greek Orthodox Society is being represented today by the Reverend Nicholas Kazarian. The Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of New York provided a financial program called COVID-19 Relief to assist those experiencing financial hardship. Aaron Pessin and the Guild for Exceptional Children. The Guild for Exceptional Children. Aaron Pessin volunteers in his off time as a professional clown. During COVID, he went to children's group homes on his off time and put on shows for those to see to bring smiles to their faces and laughter to the residents. The Zing Experience, Chico Boyer, Morgan Zwerling, Paul Bobron, and Peter Barr, better known as the Zing Experience, provided backyard concerts and front stoop concerts for small socially distanced outdoor groups in their neighborhoods. 63. Tropical Fete is group number 63. Caitlin Pierre. It's group number 63 to 70. Tropical Fete, there are 5 people here from Tropical Fete. Caitlin Pierre, Ashley Murray, Charles Watts, Daria Primus, and Ricardo Greenway. Throughout COVID, these artists provided virtual and online programming for young people throughout the virus. Nitin Vyas from World Vegan Vision, Vyas. Nitin, is he here? World Vegan Vision. This businessman provided the power of his connections to coordinate a community-wide distribution of free vegan food and face coverings to those in need. Yasmin Atef, the Yemeni Women's Association. The Yemeni Women's Association led an all-volunteer effort to help translate pertinent information from English to Arabic and then distributed it within their community. Number 70 to 80. Number 70, Bianca Tucker, Denisha Davis, and Deshaun Davis from the Zip Code Lounge. The Zip Code Lounge organized fundraisers for their community and gave back by distributing hundreds of backpacks, care packages, and groceries. Number 73 to 82, Black Lives Matter Brooklyn. Black Lives Matter Brooklyn. Black Lives Matter Brooklyn partnered with various local organizations to feed the hungry and impacted their community with a series of food and personal protective equipment distributions. Don Hong and UA3. UA3 is represented today by the VP of Operations, Chi Luk, Kinwa Lee, and Salome James. UA3 has distributed hundreds of thousands of pounds of fresh fruit, produce, and other food items across Brooklyn. Jerry Kwabena Kansis. Jerry and the Ghanaian American Heritage Committee and the Brooklyn Ambassador to Ghana, Jerry was instrumental in facilitating the distribution of food and personal protective equipment throughout Brooklyn. Number 77, Kadi Diaby. Kadi rolled up her sleeves to cook and provide hot meals to those in her community who are experiencing hunger and food insecurity. Number 77, Leah Pavlov. Where's Leah? Leah Pavlov, this 12-year-old from PS 195 in Manhattan Beach. She's an honors student. She used her allowance and her birthday money to buy groceries to make individually prepared lunch bags 3 times a week, which she donated to frontline workers in the emergency room at hospitals, including Coney Island. Thank you, Leah. The Pakistani American Youth Society. Distributed more than 125,000 hot meals, personal protective equipment, hand sanitizers, book bags, ice cream, toys. They also launched a hunger truck to travel throughout the borough. Program directors and the nursing staff from ADAPT Community Network. ADAPT Community Network. The ADAPT Community Network works to create a more inclusive world for children and adults living with disabilities. They've been in the trenches throughout this pandemic and have never taken a day off or worked from home throughout. That's ADAPT. And our last but not least, honoree, the Wong, Vong, and Yi families. This is the family of Lily Wong, who is a Brooklyn Borough Hall employee. Lily and her family packaged hundreds of thousands of masks with information about how to stay safe during COVID. These were distributed throughout the borough. Thank you, Lily Wong, the Vyang and Yi families, and thank you to all of our COVID heroes who came out today. We so appreciate you.
Reverend Eric.